Hi. Hello Cyan, Kyria, Sam, Dan, and Abby. Welcome. Hi Jacqueline, Otto, and Patricia. Let me know if you can hear and see, please. Ça a l'air correct. Tu m'as entendu? Non. J'ai dit ça a l'air correct. Okay. Awesome. Great. All right. Okay, so I've sketched a simple drawing and I want to try to paint it with the core travel set. So yep, it's fairly fairly simple and straightforward. So yeah, I hope that's not to let down. Yep, the un-American language that was heard is French from Canada. So I have, oh, also, I'll be painting on this paper. I'm not sure I can fit it under the camera, but it's the Stonehenge Aqua Cold Press. It's a really nice pad that was sent to me by Grace, because this paper has not yet come around to here. So I cut a sheet in half and I transferred my drawing and taped it to this is plexiglass. It's a bit glary, I apologize, but yeah, that's the way it is. So yeah, I have like a flower palette. The Ultimo brushes, water. This is to try the colors before I paint, and I taped it using painter's tape. I got this. Where is it? All right, I got this humongous roll of painter's tape because I was having issues with the smaller one. It's perfect for when you want to frame something in a sketchbook or on a piece of paper that you don't want to tape down. But if you want to tape down something using the thin paper, sometimes there's not enough paper to hold the paper when it's wet. Like the tape is not wide enough. If the paper gets wet, there's a chance that it will like move and the tape won't stick to it. So I got this really wide tape to see if it would fix my problem. Question from Sam: colors for mixing vibrant, cool-leaning, light and dark skin tones. I'm thinking. I did a video on skin tones, right? And I think there was a fair balance of light and warm and dark and cool. So that could be a place to look. I think the colors that were useful for that were something like quinacridone magenta and phthalo blue red shade. And there was like lemon yellow also that was useful, as far as I remember, and burnt umber. So Dan is saying that he tried this paper recently and wasn't impressed. Oh, Patricia is telling me that they have it in Toronto. Is it Curry's that has it? Or another shop? Dan is asking, do you use set or runny honey in your paints? It starts runny and eventually it crystallizes, and I just use it to crystallize because I figured that with the water and the mulling action, it's gonna melt down or, you know, mix the honey evenly with everything else. So I'm not really worried for that. So what I will try to do is I will try to paint from light to dark, and well, in itself that's not really a challenge, but the challenge for me in this drawing is that the light source is this kind of magical light bulb crystal something, and there's the moon and it's at night, so the moon will create some rim lighting on this side of the character that I might I think I will come back with white gouache to add it in, so it's not too bright. Like the white gouache won't be completely opaque, so it's gonna be lighter, but some of the background color will peek through, and this is sort of the lighter area. So this source of light, the brown light spreading out, and all the spaces it lights up on the character also. So I will try and start with that, and then I can always come back and add the shadows and the darker colors. Oh, hi Val! Val is here. I'm catching up on the chat. Hi Lena! Oh, okay, so it's Above Ground Art Supplies that has it. Okay. I've ordered ones from them. They're good, but they don't have like some kind of shipping, like free shipping option or something. So I don't often buy from them because it means that everything will cost $10 extra. Or is there a free shipping option? But I don't know, I think Curry's has more of the kind of stuff that I use. Anyway, I am trying this paper. Tips on using Delft Blue from Schmincke. That's PB60? Is it the one that's indent thrown blue? Is Studio 6 shipping any better, Patricia? Because as far as I remember, they have fees that are fairly similar to above ground, don't they? Oh, hi Grace. I am using your paper. This is the Stonehenge paper. Okay, tips for using Indent Throne Blue PB60. Well, you can use it for just about anything. It's I'm not gonna get fans for that, but in my opinion, it's like the better version of ultramarine blue. It makes a really nice gray when you mix it with something like burnt umber, if I remember well, and it will give you like amazing purples if you mix it with cool or neutral pinkish red. Yeah, that's true. Denise from In Liquid Color has just uploaded, her color spotlight on Indent Throne Blue, like today. Okay, well, bye, Paulo. Thanks for stopping by. I'm sad that the sound does not work on your end. I've seen people mention that Indent Throne Blue is like a cool blue, but I have Daniel Smith's and I've seen, well, most of those I have Holbein, I have Schmincke's, and to me they look like they're more on the red, like not purple, not like phthalo blue red shade, but if I have to choose between cool and warm, to me Indent Throne Blue looks like a warm color, a warm blue, like leaning towards the red more than the yellow. Yeah, Indent Throne is I think it would be like a good neutral-ish blue, because even if it's a bit red or a bit yellow, it's not as obvious as other colors like Prussian blue. So it's a really good blue to have for kind of all purposes. Oh, hi Zoe and Heather, welcome. Okay, so I went and got the Swatch book. This is Daniel Smith Indenthrone Blue, so PB60. This is M gram. Yeah, keep in note that my camera doesn't have the best color rendition ever. So Schmincke has two colors, but I think one is discontinued. I think the dark blue indigo became Delft blue maybe. So yeah, looking at those, to me, it doesn't show well on camera. I'm sorry, on camera they will look more green, but in real life, none of them looks green to me. The most neutral one I think is Holbein's. Like, it really seems to not have a lean towards one or the other. But Daniel Smith is really intensely deep, but it seems to be a bit warm. M gram looks like it's in the middle as well. And Sennelier's also looks in the middle. Yes, colors Swatchbook are definitely incredibly useful. Like, if you have a question about a pigment, it takes just a couple of seconds to check it out, so I think that's pretty great. Except when it doesn't want to let you put a swatch back in, but yeah, Zoe is right with the best way to figure out if a color is warm or cool is to mix it with other colors and see what kind of results you get. Like, if you want to see if your Indenthrone is warm or cool, you mix it with yellows. You try to mix it with a cool yellow, and is that it? Am I all confused because I'm thinking of 20 things at once? Yeah, if you mix it with a neutral yellow or a cool yellow, yeah, and if you get bright greens, it means that the blue was a cool blue as well. And if you get muted greens, it means that it was a warm blue. I hope I didn't get that wrong. Heather has a cat that's named Havoc that is so deserving of the name. She's pretty intense. We have, I woke up today and there was sun outside, and I think it must have been like weeks since we last saw some sun around here. So the first thing I said was, "Whoa, what is that?" But I am really happy that we have a bit more sun out, because it was getting depressing. And wow, I really flicked some brown everywhere. How did I managed to do that? Oops. Yeah, I mean, I get a bit confused also, like when I try to think about blue making cool and warm, because like my perception, not necessarily a good perception, I think it's erroneous, but when I see a cool blue, like a blue tinted with green, with yellow, so slightly greenish blue, to me it feels more warm and welcoming, but I think it's like the emotional response I have to that color, while the redder blues feel more distant and cool. But that's like, I have to remember that that's sort of the emotional response I have to these colors, and not the actual chroma value of these colors. So it's kind of weird, and I get confused at times. I'm wondering, I think this should be a black cat. question. How do you use PV55? What one is that? Okay, so is that better? I'm just not sure which is it, but yeah, it seems to be the proper mic that's working, so hold on. Okay. Okay, so the OBS just forgot which mic it was using, it would seem. Or my computer stopped recognizing the mic, or there's technology! I am using a blue snowball with the pop filter. It's not the best mic, but it's okay. Question, can you explain about PV55 again, because it cut off? There's not much to explain about it. I mean, it's slightly red-purple, so you can basically use it for just about anything that you would use a purple for, or you can use it to neutralize some other colors and make them less intense. Okay, let's get back to this. What I really like of Indanthrone Blue is it has a better tinting strength than Ultramarine, so whenever you want to make a neutral with it, it doesn't take forever before you can get a dark color. And I'm thinking that if I ever go through this palette, the core palette, the Ultramarine is gonna go, and I'm gonna put I'm guessing that core has an Indanthrone Blue as well, and that's what I would put in its place, because I much prefer that color. It's less annoying. So far I've only used the size 6 Escoda Ultimo, and I've been able to do everything with it. It's a really nice brush. It's fairly new, so the point is still good, and I can just work my stuff the way I want. I I had some issues with my mic that it was on the table with my computer, and my computer is always vibrating a bit, so the mic would vibrate also. And I will try to show it on camera. So I've attached felt to the feet, just so it cushions the sound a bit better. And I tied it down with hair bands. So MacGyver, you've got some competition over here. Felt is really inexpensive. Like it's felt from the dollar store, so it's like, what, 4 sheets for $1? Not like you're gonna set yourself back a lot by getting a sheet or two and cutting it in pieces to use as a cushion for the mic. It made a difference. The mic picks up less of the vibrating noise of the computer when I record. So Dan is saying, not a fan of ultramarine. Well, except yours, mind you. It says not a great mixer. And Calamity Jet says ultra is great for granulation. And then Sam asks Dan, you are not a fan of anything. And that's true. I mean, like Dan is our grumpy old man, young man. I find that really funny. Someone's gotta be negative. Calamity Jet, is that the name you want me to address you as? Because when you wrote me, I think you didn't use that name. Like, if you guys would rather I call you by something different than your handle, let me know. I try to remember it. Might not have a perfect track record, but I try. Okay, so before everything went south, I wanted to paint some of the background. So who bought all of Dan's ultramarine? Yeah, I will outline everything in the end. I find that if I just, like, often the way I paint illustrations, the line work gets lost a lot of the time, so I will indeed repaint everything. That's my method for now, since I haven't figured out a way to do this better and not lose all the outlines. I'm also thinking I will paint over the moon, because that way I will be able to use something like the gouache, or perhaps something a bit sparkly to paint it in, but I don't want it to be a super high contrast between the moon and the sky, because this is supposed to be the area of contrast, if I don't mess it up. It's a big if, but yeah, that's where I stand. Her Royal Highness Crown Princess of Wakanda Carrier. That's a bit of a mouthful, don't you think? Heather, servant to the cat masters. That's kind of really accurate. Val is high impress of the flame Val. Gee, you guys. It's kind of a ninja cat, but it's not carrying a knife. It's carrying kind of an orb of light. It's like a spy cat. Well, I thought Otto made a deal to like a specific production of ultramarine just for Otto. I'm not quite sure what I want to paint next. That's why I keep wetting my brush and not doing much. Ah, that's interesting. So Cyan is saying the thing they like in Finnish is that the Finnish only have one she/he that is written han. That's really a good idea. That makes it very simpler. Okay, so I think I will try to... I'm a bit stressed out about trying to paint the sky. Okay. This might get weird for the camera, but I'm gonna use the pucks, the pad pucks, these things, to put my drawing at an angle and upside down, like this. So I apologize if it's a bit weird on camera, but yeah, okay, good. Gonna make a very generous puddle of the color I want for the sky. It's gonna be a good base of ultramarine because I want a reddish blue for the night sky. But I will have to make it much darker than this. In this case, PB60 would have been really useful. I know I have a Payne's Grain this set, but you guys know where I stand with colors with black in them. It's not really my thing. And what do I do? Do I use... Oh wow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to use the Payne's Grey. Because it brings in a really lovely darkness. Okay. Oh, bye, Carria. Sorry, I'm so focused on making this wash not a mess that I am not checking the chat a lot at the moment. Okay, so the artist part of this is not fiddling with the wash. I have to let it dry before I do anything else on it. What a break. Oh, hi Malvina. Oh, I'm seeing pen holder art. If you want to be words fail me, but if you want to be called something specific, feel free to mention it. Hi, Kiharu. No, this guy is unfortunately not PB60. It is a mix of ultramarine blue, the magenta, and Payne's Grey, and burnt umber, I think. So plenty of colors, because this set doesn't have PB60, unfortunately. I wish it did, but they gave us ultramarine blue instead. Oh, hi, Limiki. Yeah, I think us calling penholder art grumpy is more like a joke, but if you don't want us to do that, it's okay, just tell us. Like, seriously, yeah, anything that you, if I say we, but if I address someone in an improper way, just please let me know and I will try to fix it. Of course, I don't think mistakes can happen, but I really try to keep in mind that what's everyone's preference. So yeah. Question. Sam is saying that they're planning on making a series where they recreate said artist palette. What are your staple colors? Staple colors. It's a bit difficult because I kind of like all the colors. Like the way I work with colors is that when I see a color, this is gonna be really not pretty when it dries, but anyway, let's try to fix it after. When I see a color, my brain immediately tries to think about how I could use this color, what I could mix it with. So I end up not really having colors that I dislike. There are some colors that I really enjoy because I find they bring something super unique to the table, like opera and, you know, kind of all the not light fast colors. But staple colors, I'm happy when the palette has kind of warm and cool primary colors and like interesting ones. Not too many cadmiums, please. They're just, I mean, they pack a punch, but the synthetic colors, they work so well, so I don't really feel like there's a need to have the actual cadmiums in a set, personally. I like colors that go super dark, so I'm always excited when there is dioxazine purple, which I haven't used in this one. What is wrong with me? Because it is almost black, and then you can lighten it up to just about any color you want. So that's what I like. I'm not a fan. Well, no, I like all the colors, but when a color is already washed out to begin with, I find it a bit more difficult to use it for everything. It feels like it's more of a special situation palette, like that I want to create a specific effect in the painting. Oh, okay, so I'm rambling. Doop-de-doo. Okay, so is it okay if we call you Dan? And if that's not fine, that's perfectly okay to say so. Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, someone check my temperature. Like, I've got all these purples and I didn't even put any dioxazine. I will have to fix that. Or perhaps my brain sort of kept the dioxazine as a way to come back and add more shadows later, which is something I wanted to do. So perhaps my brain was like, let's make her forget about this one for now so she can discover it later and be all excited about it. Okay, 12 colors I can't without. Dioxazine purple, opera rose, cobalt turquoise, rose madder from Olbine. No, I can't. I just can't. I like them all, and I can work with anything you throw my way. I can work with it. So as a result, I don't really have a Mark, are you familiar with the terrible B movie called The Room? It has a very sort of popular quote from the main character that sort of has a terrible line delivery. And he says like, I didn't do it, this is not true, I didn't do it. And then he says, oh, hi, Mark. And it sort of stays with you once you've seen it. So every time I say, hi, Mark, I kind of have to resist the urge to say, oh, hi, Mark. that way, like in the room. But yeah, I think it's a funny way to say hi to someone. Okay. I gotta paint more and talk less. So you have seen the room. Oh, hi, Mark. Awesome. Oh, bye, Malvina. Thanks for being there. You always sort of vanish. But I really appreciate you being here. And bye, Kathy. Or is Malvina staying and Kathy's leaving? I should really backtrack more in the chat. If I was setting up a 12 slot travel palette, what would your instinct put in it? Quin Rose or Quin Pink, because they're basically the same color. A neutral yellow and a phthalo blue green shade. Upper Rose, Cobalt Teal, Dioxazine Purple. Daniel Smith's Van Dyke Brown, because it is super intense. Possibly Phthalo Turquoise. I wish I could put PG8 in there, because it's the best green. Basically, the printer primary and just about every not light fast color you can think of. That's my palette. It is a terrible movie, right? At the Room. It has the most quotable terrible lines. Someone had mentioned, what did I think about the Azo Yellow? And what do I use it for? It's kind of way too intense to use on its own, but it's a really great base. Oh, that's not the proper color. I thought that was the Azo Yellow. Come on, brain. Yeah, because it's so intense and at such tinting strength that, first of all, I sort of always have to dilute it down. But I find it's a good base for skin tones. And just you can add a bit of the transparent pyrrole orange to bring it back to a less acidic look. And that's basically, I find that's a really good yellow to start as a base for any color. Well, how many colors did I give you, Sam? Okay, so M-Grams Azo Yellow for the yellow, Quin Rose or Quin Pink from Daniel Smith, Phthalo Blue Green Shade from Daniel Smith, Cobalt Teal, I'm not picky, any will do, Upper Rose from Holbein, Rose Madder from Holbein, Dioxazine Purple, so that's 7, Van Dyke Brown from Daniel Smith, 8, what else? Oh, welcome back, Malvina. Okay, so I got the Swatch book out. Well, it was right next to me, so I can just quickly look at it. Like I like all the colors, so that's not really a problem, but I'm missing what? I'm missing 4. Depends on it's a palette for what. If it's a palette for what's the word I'm looking for? Urban sketching. It's not. I'm not gonna use the same kind of setup that I use for illustration. Oh, Indent Throne Blue. Yes. So 9. PG8, so 10. Like White Knights has a nice PG8. I would get a green gold, I think, PY 129. So I am missing 1. I think I would maybe bring M. Graham's neutral tint. It is my favorite neutral tint that I've tried. I don't have Daniel Smith's, and I am not sure what's the composition, but M. Graham is pretty nice in that it's made from PV19 and PG7, so it's full of life. It's not flat at all, and it's a really lovely color. So there, maybe an odd 12 colors, but you asked, so now you deal with it. I gotta get back to this painting. So a lot of weird things are happening in the sky. First of all, since I flipped my drawing back around, this kind of leaked from the top. And then this is where I had a pool of paint for maybe too long, so it left sort of this mark. I will probably put on a second layer and see if that helps hide away these not pretty bits. Mark's saying that he just started talking out loud, thinking thinking we could hear him. Though I think at some point it could be pretty fun to have like maybe sort of a Skype call or like an artist conference live stream. Like there could be many of us painting, and we could talk through either Skype or what is Discord. And I think it could be fun to have kind of a discussion between artists. I've seen people do that on Twitch, and it's usually a lot of fun, so I'm thinking, why not try that for our streams and our community? Let me know if you think that could be interesting, and maybe that's something that we could set up eventually. Oh, I think you guys are in favor of the idea. I think I think we would have to set it up so it's not all like 20 people at the same time, but we could have sort of features like a rotation or something. Because, yeah, if we all get in there, it's gonna be a bit problematic. But I think it could be fun to have sort of a recurring event with a rotating cast of people talking, and perhaps sort of work towards having a bunch of questions prepared so that there's not, if there is sort of an awkward silence in the group chat thingy, well, we can ask away questions. It's a bit like when Marty and Steve have a guest over and they sort of have this conversation, the three of them. So it could be quite fun to have something like that. I really don't know how to set up a group stream. Like if more than one person. Like I'm really not familiar. I've only seen it done on Twitch with Discord, but it wasn't audio. It was just audio. There was no video. And if there was multiple Twitch streams at the same time, there was a platform that enabled people to have both of them, but you sort of have to go to another website and put the videos in, and then it creates kind of a window with both videos or all the videos on the same page. So I am not sure how it would work for us. What? Can you guys still hear me? Is this still working? Something went bloop and I don't know what. Grace, if you want to have... Oh, hold on, let me catch back. Oh yeah, the Finetech palette is quite nice. You can, yeah, you can dilute the colors. You can dilute it with watercolor if you want to have a sparkly color. And you can probably glaze over colors that are staining, like maybe not the colors that lift. Try this again and hopefully not mess it up too much. Mark is asking if I scan my work. I try. I try, but it's a bit difficult. I haven't found a good way to do it yet. Because the problem I have is that even if I try to bring the paper to a flat once it's dry, it's often still a bit wobbly, and my scanner is sort of not very good, so it has a hard time not scanning the hooks, the nooks and crannies, sorry, of a painting. So I've scanned a couple in the past, but I've noticed that when they are printed out, sometimes there will be areas that are a bit blurry, and I realized that it's because of that. It's because I don't really know how to fix the scanner in a way that fix the paper in a way that it's completely flat, so that when I scan it, I don't have issues. And I thought I was gonna have enough color, but as you can see, I don't. Let's try to fix this. Okay. Any tips to fill half pans the best? Yeah, using toothpick helps. Yeah, I've seen how Jane Blundell fills her pans. If you want to fill it at an angle, I usually don't really bother for that, but perhaps I would maybe recommend that you don't fill them to the brim. Like, you fill them a bit below the brim, so that if you put a lot of water in there, it's not gonna make a mess. And since you fill the pans yourself, once it's out of paint, you just refill it, so it's not a problem if it's not completely full. But aside from that, oh yeah, labeling the pans first, really a good idea. I've tried. I've done the. I know how to flatten the paper. I've done the thing where you wet the backside and then you tape it back. So I'm not unfamiliar with the technique. It's just that I've had mixed results so far. I think this new tape might help me a lot, because something that I would notice with my previous attempts at flattening is that my tape was not really wide enough to secure the painting in place. So it would start to dry, and then eventually a part would become separated from the tape, and then that part would be a bit wavy, so I was not able to hold the painting down enough so it would be completely flat. I'm thinking that this tape is going to be really good for that, because it is like legit white tape. I really don't want to bring the iron into the equation. No. I am a wuss. Like, even just the heat tool. But yeah, I've had good success with, if you let this dry completely, it's going to be maybe a bit wavy, and then you completely soak the background. Like, you put yourself on paper towels and you wet the background till it's well soaked, and then you flip it back the proper way with the art on top on a surface like this plexiglass, and you tape it down again so that it dries in a controlled way, and since you wet the backside, it dries flatter. I also hate stretching paper because I hate the craft gum tape. I have a roll somewhere, and I keep it just because, but I'm pretty sure at some point it's just going to become like glued to itself, and I'm just going to throw it away. I hate the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna try painting upside down because I don't want to flip my drawing back around so I get all the same problems I just tried to correct. But it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be pretty odd. Yeah. Yes, there's something weird that I've noticed with the standard way of stretching paper, like the old school way, I'll say, where you really soak your paper completely and then put it flat on a surface, often wood, because it will dry better than I think. Is it? Anyway, maybe not. Don't quote me on this because this is not a method I've used. But you wet the paper completely, like soaked in the bathtub, kind of wet, and then you put it flat on a surface that is hard, and you glue it down with the craft gum tape. Like it's this craft tape that has water activated glue on one side. So you soak the tapes and you flat, and you leave that to dry completely. I think it works well if you are using, blank paper that you want to, that has no art on it yet. But I've noticed that if you are more of an illustrator, and if you draw your drawing on the paper before soaking it and stretching it, it may distort the drawing a bit. So that was another thing that bothered me about this method. I was like, well, it's all weird now. Like, it's maybe not so bad if you draw an inanimate object, but if you draw a person and then the person is all stretched weirdly, that's not ideal. Yeah, heavy books are great for flattening stuff too. Oh yeah, I could have the drawing more upright by bringing the pucks closer to me, but I just want to just because earlier what I did is I flipped it that way, and with the paint that was still wet in the sky, it kind of did something weird that I wasn't too happy about. So I just want to keep this to give it a good chance of being okay. I still haven't used dioxazine purple. Come on. Yes. Hello, purple. The best purple. The best. Oh, okay, yeah. I see what that meant. Like if I rotated the pucks as well, so I would have this slant. It would be that would be quite epic to paint. The sky is kind of boring at the moment, but I think I might come back to it with perhaps some glazing of sparkly stuff. Subtle sparkles, because I don't want it to steal the show, but we love sparkles, don't we? Oh, Mark is asking if anyone has tried the Arteza watercolors. I haven't. They didn't reach out to me, so I'm not gonna go and buy it on my own because, well, I think there's a part of the problem is that I am in Canada, so... Oh, that was my color for this guy. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to find a new one. But, yeah, they haven't really reached out to me to try their watercolors, so it's not on the menu for now. I'm a bit, how to say, not confused, but I think it's a bit weird when you're being sent something like that, because there's still a difference between when you as an artist sort of reach out to a manufacturer asking, hey, I really like your products, I use something similar and I would be really interested into anything you could send me, like samples, and I would like make a video about it to share with more people. And it comes from you, so it means you already have kind of an interest in the thing. So it's not the same when someone reaches to you and say, hey, I have this product that I would like you to review. You can... It's really awesome, and I'm really thankful when the companies do that. But then again, it's always kind of a... I keep thinking like, but what if I don't like the product? Like, this is not something that I seeked, so I don't know what to expect from this. What if I don't like it? What if I think it's really not suited to the kind of stuff I do? What do I say then? I'm kind of stuck with this, and they send it to me, and I don't want to do some bad press just because, but I would much prefer not have to talk about this at all than being in this situation where I don't really know how to spin this. It went bloop again. Yeah, I'm really in favor of being honest, but it still bums me out when like, I'm just sad that I have to be honest and say that something is perhaps not really good, because it's, I don't know, it's just, I prefer fun art supplies, so when something is not great, I'm always a bit bummed out. It's like, aw, why is this not great? This could be great. You sort of missed the point. Yeah, no size fits all. Indeed. Oh well, so I'm a bit stuck right now. I'm thinking... Yeah, okay. I will mute the mic this time on purpose because I will use the hairdryer to dry this part of the painting. Okay. And we are back. That's her, and it really flattened nicely when I dried it. Like the paper is barely warped anymore. No, wait, that's not the good color. The one I mixed is this one. I think that's coming along nicely. Yeah, Jacqueline, you're right. Jacqueline says if a company sends you stuff and you can't say that you like it, let them know it's not for you and that you would rather not do the video instead of saying anything negative about it. That's what I would do. But I will always be bummed out by supplies that are not good, because I know that somewhere this is going to be the introduction to art for someone, and they will be so disappointed with the result that they might just stop arting altogether. So it bums me out. It really does. Oh, Mark, have you tried the M-gram gouache or the Holbein gouache? Since you know gouache really well, I'm curious to know what you think of these. Okay, I will have to mute you guys again so I can dry this before it makes a nasty cauliflower. Or I will try something. Huh. Yeah, M6 color gouache set. It's always a bit annoying because you know it's gonna be some kind of variant of red, yellow, blue, brown, black, and white. It's just like the prospect of having to mix everything is not super exciting, especially when you're experienced and you sort of know what you want and you don't really need to get through the basics again. So I will try this again because I don't know if you can see, but I need practice in making flat washes because I am not super great at it. And as you can see, I have like some fairly nasty cauliflowering going on, and I'm possibly gonna just make it worse. So there is two ways of learning. You can learn by classes and you can learn by doing. I obviously do the second one. You try stuff, you make plenty of mistakes, and then you go, oh well, Now I know not to do this anymore. So I can really say that this corset, the core set, layers nicely, because this is, I've been like piling on many layers for the sky, and aside like user errors like the cauliflowers from me not controlling the wetness level well enough, I mean everything layers really nicely. That is some really nice darks. And I've put some paint green there, but I find that the color is not flat and lifeless. It is quite good, I think, in my opinion, anyway. Catching up on the chat. Yeah, some gouaches, some paints are really stinky. Off the top of my head, like Mary's gouache were kind of stinky, I think. Chinese paints are often stinky. The Talent's gouache has a smell to them, and same for the Rembrandt tubes. What is Holbein gouache like? Would I recommend the normal one or the acrylic gouache? That really depends on what you want to do, because the acrylic gouache is acrylic paint and the regular gouache is regular gouache, so it's really not the same thing. It's like, it's about having opaque watercolor on one side and acrylic paint on the other side, so it really depends on how you want to paint and how you want to layer and the kind of effect you want to create. But both are really nice as far as I can tell, and the acrylic paint by Holbein is amazing, but yeah, it's really not the same thing. Oh, this one? So Mark is saying that he's in love with my Swatch card. So my Swatch paper? It would make a nice bookmark. Oh, hi, bookmark. That's really good. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that classes are not helpful. It's just that you know, depending on depending on someone's more efficient way of learning, some people will do better in classes and some people will do better on their own. I know I need classes for some things, like mostly like technical stuff or perhaps science. I used to have a science teacher that would be like, go learn on your own and then come to see me to see if you're right or wrong, and I wanted to throw him out the window because I'm like, I am not you, I don't have experience, and I'm like, what, 15? Just teach me the stuff so I can understand it, and then like make it a part of my brain stuff. Do not throw me out there and to learn on my own. It's science, it's hard. But for art, I've always mostly been self-taught for a lot of stuff. So I've had classes, but I find that if it's classes for drawing or painting, I will often just do my thing anyway, so... yeah, I mean, if you do better in class because you can ask questions and get the teacher's experience to help, that's awesome. But it's also okay to just learn by doing your own stuff. You might not learn as fast, but I think the stuff you learn might stay better with you, might stay more strongly with you than something that you're being told without experiencing it. Cyan is saying, and there went something fluffy under my chair. Bun bun on the bun venture. That's so cute. Then if you layer a lot, I would suggest to try the acrylic gouache. Because, okay, I will answer Zoe's question at the same time. Zoe's asking, what is the difference between acrylic paint and acrylic gouache? At some point, I will make a video explaining watercolor, regular gouache, acrylic paint, and acrylic gouache, just to compile all this stuff together in the same video. But the only difference between acrylic paint and acrylic gouache is that the gouache has a matte finish. That's all. Acrylic paint has this plasticky, shiny finish, and acrylic gouache has a matte finish like regular gouache, but that's it. That's the only thing they have in common, is the fact that they are both matte. The rest is drastically different. So then, if you want to layer a lot, I would suggest getting a couple of tubes of the acrylic gouache, because you can dilute it and layer, and it's not gonna budge. Like, you won't lift up the color underneath, while if you use regular gouache, it's gonna be a lifting nightmare. It's gonna lift all the time, all the places, and it's not gonna be fun if you like to layer a lot. I'm just catching up on the chat. So yeah, the if you've sort of played a bit with all these mediums, it's easier to get around to what they do. But if you want something that is liftable and that you can re-wet, you have gouache for the opaque, and you have watercolor for the mostly transparent. If you want something that won't re-wet, that will be permanent, and that you can't put it in a palette and let it dry because it's gonna turn into a plastic knob, that's acrylic and acrylic gouache, with the acrylic being the shiny finish and the acrylic gouache being the matte finish. So they are like two separate things that don't exactly work the same way. I know you can use dilute acrylic with water a bit, but like if you leave watercolor or gouache in your brush and you forget it, the brush is still gonna be good. You can just put it on the water and rinse it off and it's gonna be fine. If you leave acrylic or acrylic gouache in a brush, it's probably dead. It's probably you've just broken your brush. It's really hard to bring back a brush that has acrylic stuff dried in it. Dan is asking, so would it be cheaper to get acrylic paint in a matte medium? Depends, because the medium will give you more transparency. So if you want to layer and you don't really care about the finish itself, or you want to get matte medium, that might work. If you want to make super thin washes with acrylic, look for airbrush medium, because it is super liquid, like water liquid, and it won't break up the binder. That's the phone. Sorry about that. Yeah, acrylic inks like watercolors, they work well. So yeah, I don't know about matte medium with acrylic, how matte it stays. I know that the acrylic gouache is perfectly matte, so there's that. But yeah, I don't have a lot of time to paint, but if I had more time, I would use these things more, like the acrylic gouache and regular acrylic, and perhaps I don't have a lot of knowledge, but like I said, I mostly learn by doing, and since I don't have a lot of time to do much, sometimes I only have a bit of time to like do some experiments, but I don't have time to do a full painting. So yeah. Oh, wait, I need to catch up on the chat. Oh, Heather is saying that Havoc the cat has curled up on a pillow and is so freaking cute. She looks like a princess on a pedestal. That's probably what Pico looks like right now, because her favorite spot lately has been this cushion on a chair. So she sits on top of the cushion and she looks like a princess on a pedestal. That's a good one. Grace is saying that their cat bit them when they pet her, and now their hand smells like cat mouth. Ew. Cat breath is disgusting. It's just bad. Oh, Mark is saying that the biggest fight he has with high school student is cleaning the dang brush. I'm pretty sure that the budget for brushes is to buy the cheap stuff, because I'm not surprised that the brushes get all gunky. So this is a nice color, but it's still not super even, and I shouldn't really touch it because it's not dry yet, so I will pick up the paint. I wonder if I will be able to get some kind of even wash up there, or if I'm just gonna fail at it. It's a good learning experience anyway, so I am learning how to do this thing, but I'm like, why? Stop being uneven, sky wash. It's difficult to do. Not quite, Dan. Dan is saying white acrylic paint plus color acrylic plus matte medium plus airbrush medium equals acrylic gouache. No. Acrylic gouache is exactly like color acrylic, but matte. Like the polymer they use is not shiny, so it makes for a matte finish. It's not diluted from something. It's not necessarily with white in it. It's just opaque and matte. You have some acrylic gouache that will be, semi-opaque, just like acrylics. Acrylics, you have some acrylics that are more transparent than others. Same story with acrylic gouache. If you want to dilute acrylic to a very pale wash, I suggest getting some acrylic airbrush medium, because instead of diluting with water and weakening the binder, you dilute it with a very liquid acrylic binder, so you keep the strength of the binder and you get your lighter color that you want. The airbrush medium, I'm pretty sure, comes either in matte or gloss, so you can use the gloss with regular acrylic if you want to keep the glossy effect, and you can use the matte with acrylic gouache. If you use white gouache with acrylic or acrylic gouache, it's just going to make a tinted color, like it's going to go towards white. And if you don't need matte medium, if you put any medium on top of everything else, you're just gonna make the color yet more transparent, but it's still gonna be thick. Whew. Luke Skywash! Oh, that's the name of this drawing now. This cat is Luke Skywash. Oh, Lana is saying that they had to bring their own brushes to school and they hated to share because the other students left their brushes in the water tipped down. If I had to bring brushes to school and I would never share them. Never, ever, ever, ever. Like people like, oh, I don't have my brushes, can I borrow one of yours? Nope. Not my problem. These are my brushes. I paid for them. You can go get your own or beg someone else because I won't share my brushes. It's personal now. Otto is saying that airbrush medium is super useful in acrylic painting. That's what I'm sort of finding out at the moment because I got some airbrush medium at some point. I don't remember why, but I have a small bottle of it and I realized that it's a really nice way to change the viscosity of the acrylic but without weakening it. So yeah, I've experimented a bit with it, but it's really useful to have. Dan, if you have acrylics already, you may try to get just get the matte airbrush medium and try to work with that with your regular acrylics and see how that kind of affects the acrylics. I'm like, my hand is doing all sorts of weird moves as I'm speaking, but it's just outside of the range of the camera. Okay, so I've mixed a dark color for the sky, and guess what I'm gonna do again? Maybe I should try it the other way around for once. Maybe I should start from super dark at the top and bring it down. Perhaps that would work better. Alright, so hopefully that will dry fine and not all weird and cauliflowery. Oh, bye, Mark. Does matte airbrush medium exist? Just like that, I... Oh, bye, Mark! Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, bye, Zoe! Okay, well, this is drying anyway, so I might just as well try to dig out my hairbrush medium. Is that it? Oh yeah, that's it. The one I have is from Golden. Pretty sure I bought it from Jackson's. So, as you can see on the back, it is fully transparent. It is fully thin as opposed to thick. And between matte and gloss, it is about like it is closer to the matte than the gloss finish. So if you use this with your regular acrylic, they might still be kind of glossy, but when I use this with my acrylic gouache, it stays matte. So yeah, and it's liquidy. I will, Grace. Grace is saying to threaten the painting. If you don't dry well, I'll bring out the torch. Considering this is paper, that's a good threat. Yeah, it's hairbrush. Are you guys making fun of my lousy accent? I am le French. What's the opposite of math? Is there something that is absolutely not creative at all? Because I think you sort of need creativity in math. So I'm trying to think about something that doesn't have any creative element to it at all. And that would be my suggestions for the opposite to matte. Math. Why is the H th? I mean, it's a T. Why did you have to create this weird TH thing and then create words like through or thought or like all these rubbish words that I can't say because there's like way too much going on? Seriously, THROUGH. Why? I think creativity is a skill that is useful for so many things, regardless of what you're doing. You could be working in a grocery store and still find use for your creativity when there's a crisis or something. Never hurts to be creative. Yeah, math medium and hairbrush medium. Those are the most useful to have. Blach. So, something that is written to sound like quay is in fact key. I like buoy, What? Why? Why is that like buoy or? It's written like buhoy, not buhoy, buoy. There's no H in there. It's a freaking buoy in French. Did you guys try to speak French and when you couldn't, you made up some weird word with like B-U-O-Y instead of being able to say bouée like everyone else? Well, quiche as quiche. 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 It's a quiche. A quiche. Is the quiche ready? Yes, my queen, the quiche is ready. Who would like some quiche? I would. Give me some quiche. Sorry. Quiche. I love that often you have like a quiche Lorraine, which is probably the most French thing you could have regarding quiches, and it's just really funny to see people try to say Lorraine properly. A quiche Lorraine? Nah, nice try, almost. A quiche. Well, I think this is mostly done. I tried to look at it on the camera to see what it looks like. It's not so bad. I think I might need to push this back a little bit, but that's pretty minor stuff. Oh no, Val! The tablet is dying. Quiche. So I gotta say that overall I'm really happy with the way the paints worked. This is really dark, like it's insane. The tinting strength and the pigmentation of the paint is amazing. And I had no problem layering like what, 5-6 layers easily, because I kept messing up and it just took it in stride, and like it's amazing. It's really, really dark and really, really full of strength. But I was saying that I need to draw an animal that I would imagine being called a quiche. I will. No, it's not gonna be a hamster. Oh no! Why slapping hamsters? They're so tiny. Oh, thanks, Temple. So yeah, I think that's mostly done. I will probably come back with a bit of white. When this is completely dry, I will come back with possibly some white gouache to add a bit of details, maybe something to paint a moon in the sky, but really lightly. And since I had these lines that are not super great in my light, I might either cover them in gouache or maybe add some kind of fine tech color to have a bit of sparkle going. And I will probably use the Prismacolor Polychromos to outline stuff on the drawing. So now's the time for the last round of questions, because I think I'm gonna call this done. Which colors are the dark sky? There's many colors in there. There is the magenta, ultramarine blue, Payne's gray, and some of the burnt umber. I did so many layers that it varies depending on the layer. Oh, hi Marjorie, but I'm almost done. I'm just doing a last round for questions and then I'm gonna call this done. Because I gotta let this dry before I can add more to it. Yes, I will paint it using a hairbrush. Ha ha ha! Oh, Cyan is saying that Bun Bun has a twin in Boston. That's so cute. Dan, you gotta respect your elders. Eve, can you do a quick impromptu sketch of a kitty? Sure. Not necessarily watercolor, or just a sketch? So, for those of us who are not exactly hamster savvy, what's the thing with hamsters and pouches? I would need some paper. I am much older than you, Dan. I am not really young. Can you do a quiche bird? so this is a bit of not the best paper, but it's paper, so. Oh, bye, Marjorie. Oh, okay, you're staying. I thought you were leaving. Okay, pouches their cheeks. Oh yeah. Okay, hamsters dig it. I think this is like the there. Can you guys see this? Yeah, vaguely. Hi. I am a hamster. Okay, so a quiche bird. Oh yeah, the pouches go much further down the body. Like what? Like halfway down? Man, I can understand being a bit sort of need a joint in there. I am just eating crap. Okay. Okay, so a cat. Give it a moment. It's not gonna look like that soon enough. Sorry. No, it's not a cat strangling it. What's wrong with you, Otto? Get your mind out of the gutter. Gutter mind. There are kids in the room. This might get shaky a bit. Oh, there was someone. Was it Chris? Anyway, hi. Oh yeah, this. I kind of like the way it looks, like in the abstract, because it's a bit like a color reference. If I like the way the colors work on this, I kind of want to keep it to use as inspiration for something else. It's also a good way, maybe I should label it on the back, like the core travel set, so I know these colors were made from this set. Oh, okay, so want to know what I look like? Here, I'll draw myself. There. Is that why I'm so full of energy? I missed a bit of the chat, I guess. So, what does Otto think I look like? And I am not always so full of energy. I am never full of energy. I'm definitely cat-powered. Now I can clickbait the title, face reveal. Yeah. There you have it. That's the artist. Yeah, I have glasses. Oh. You naughty kids. I think I drew the balls kind of short. Imagine Eve being an actual cat and cover her paws with human hand gloves. Yeah, well, I have to wear a cap to cover my cat ears so that they don't show in camera. Oh yeah, glasses are mandatory in this case. I am useless without my glasses. I can't see nothing. And you know, people are like, well, how far away from your face does it start to get blurry? And I'm like, well, give it 6 inches at best and it starts to get blurry, so I have to wear, and I'm unable to put stuff in my eyes, so I don't have contacts. Are the cat sounds actually made by you accidentally? Yeah, probably. Well, no, Pico and Scout are my actual kids. I really don't know what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a cat, but yeah, whatever. You know, guys, that this chat is gonna be hidden, right? I am not leaving that there. Alright, any more questions? Though you guys are just having fun in the chat. Oh yeah, this one needs to go bye-bye. No? No more questions? Because it is fun with the chat, but once I remove the chat, this part is gonna be super boring for anyone watching. Is that one the Kiki Nugget? It's not super good. I need to go observe Peko a bit more. I don't understand cat limbs. Like, I can draw cats when they're like anthropomorphized and they have like this vaguely human body thing going on, but when I try to draw cat limbs real, I really have no clue how to make it work. Okay, question 3, color palette from Holbein. What would you choose? Rose Madder. Possibly Marine Blue. Or Royal Blue. And I don't know much about Holbein's yellows. The only yellow I have in mind is their Queen Gold. I'm thinking. Depends on what I have to paint, but I might do something like grab compose green. I know you don't like it, Otto, but I like it. But if I was a bit more conscious of what kind of yellows they have to offer, I might get a yellow. I kind of want a neutral-ish transparent yellow, but I don't really know what they have. Okay, question. What's your most disliked color from any brand? I don't really have any. Like I said, I don't really have disliked colors because regardless of the color you throw at me, I will try to think of a way to use it. So I don't separate colors in terms of prettiness, but in like it's always a challenge. Like if you tell me, oh well, chromium green is ugly, and I'm like, well, I can see uses for it in this and that and those circumstances with this and those colors. So I'm trying to think perhaps of a useless color would be more accurate. I think my least used color is ivory black. I don't find it super useful. Or Chinese white is not super useful either. It's not opaque. I'm not sure what it's there for. And ivory black is a bit flat in watercolors, so I don't really like to use it. Cyan is saying that they hate Venetian red. Yeah, I like the compost green, the minty one. Not the brownish one. Do you have a suggestion for a nice opaque white ink for highlights? Does it have to be ink? Because you can get white gouache. That is kind of nice. The Hydrus white liquid watercolor is quite nice. Just gotta shake it well, but it's nicely opaque. Yeah, I said ivory black, but you can still paint some nice monochrome painting with it. So I don't find it useful with other colors, but in black and white situation, it's okay. Yeah, white gouache I really like. Gram's titanium white. It's nicely opaque, and it's sort of the most affordable one I can get here. If you don't have access to Gram, check out for the Winsor & Newton white gouache. Always get titanium white because zinc white is not as opaque, and I've heard that the Holbein white gouache with the titanium white pigment is also really good. So there's that. Okay, so I'm gonna call this done. And you guys seems to have had a lot of fun, so that's great. That's awesome. I hope you enjoyed the painting and the sketches, and we will see each other soon. I will be hosting more live streams, whether it's paint making or sort of spur of the moment unboxing or just sketching. So yeah, thank you very much for being there, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you get a bit of sun like we do here, because it is quite nice. I had forgotten what sun was about. But yeah, bye bye, take care.